All right, YouTube, got a question for you. Where do you rank the Pacquiao-Thurman victory of Pacquiao's all-time victories, right? Was it the best win of his career? Maybe top 3, top 2, top 5? I want to know where you rank it. In the comment section, tell me. You know, Pacquiao beating Keith Thurman by decision, where do you rank it? And also, by the way, I've got the actual scorecards coming up in a video, and this whole thing with Mayweather, you know, this whole Pacquiao-Mayweather beef. We're going to talk about it in the upcoming video. We got Gervonta Davis fighting tonight. Maybe I'll do like a reaction video and to the Gervonta Davis fight, and then we'll get into, you know, of course, Mayweather. You know, we know Mayweather's going to be there, so, you know, it's kind of appropriate timing, and we'll talk about the feud going on between these two right now. So, but let's go back. All right, I'm going to talk about what I think are some of the best, you know, Pacquiao victories, and then you can compare them to the Thurman victory. So, now, all right, going into the Barrera fight, Manny Pacquiao was 21-2-1, okay? Definitely the underdog, all right? He was getting booed, actually booed during the ring walk, okay? I went and watched the video earlier, okay? And and we could tell right away that Pacquiao had the speed advantage, you know, and I believe he moved up in weight for that fight. I don't know, you guys got to double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure he moved up in weight for the Barrera fight. But again, you know, correct me if I'm wrong on that. So now Barrera only been down 3 times previous to that particular fight. So basically that victory in what I think, I mean, we can talk about Ledwaba, whatever, but I think that launched Manny Pacquiao into like mega stardom, right? You know, even the Mexican community embraced Pacquiao after that fight. So I think the Barrera fight was highly significant, but was it better than Thurman? You know, I don't know, you decide. So came into the fight, like I said, as the underdog. Next thing you know, they're throwing in the towel. I mean, you know, we thought Pacquiao was going to lose, and I remember watching that fight, and everyone thought he was going to lose, and then, yeah, you got Barrera's corner throwing in the damn towel. So, fast forward, right, now to one of my favorites, Eric Morales. Had a chance to eat, actually, I had a chance to meet Eric Morales and Barrera at a Canelo fight. It was kind of cool, and Chavez was there too, all 3 of them, so I got the chance to meet all 3 of them. But I've met Chavez multiple times, but I've only met Eric Morales once and Barrera twice, so it was pretty cool to meet those guys. But anyway, Eric Morales, right? Basically gets stopped. Kenny Bayless waves off the fight. Pacquiao shocks the world yet again, okay? And these guys fought 3 damn times, okay? First fight, we know Manny lost by decision, came back, avenged that loss. Third fight, it was just, I think Eric Morales was looking for money, basically, at that point. And, of course, Pacquiao wins. Now, next on my list, we have Antonio Margarito, okay? And I actually made a little documentary on the illegal hand wrap situation, so, you know, go check that out. Now, the Pacquiao-Margarito fight was after he was busted with the illegal hand wrap. So, you know, and man, every time I think about that, I can see Miguel Cotto's face. You know, every time I think about the hand wraps, I can see that picture of Miguel Cotto, you know, busted up and all that. And remember, Margarito was making fun of Freddie Roach and his disabilities, okay? And that could have been Robert Garcia. I'm trying to remember who the trainer was back then. I think it was Robert Garcia. Can't remember who it was, but I know they were all, you know, talking bad about Freddie and Pacquiao. You know, so Manny came out like a beast, right, and completely destroyed that dude. Margarito, we know he suffered a broken orbital bone, and remember, that was right around the time everyone claimed Pacquiao was losing his power, you know, so hadn't had a knockout in a while, that kind of thing. So, you know, I mean, to you know, basically systematically break down a guy much bigger than you, he definitely had the power, but he didn't get the knockout, but, you know, I think he pretty much retired him. So, we could bring up Ricky Hatton, right? Ricky Hatton, strong, dangerous in his prime, but once again, Manny Pacquiao shocked the world, that career highlight knockout, dropping Ricky Hatton in round 1. And then, of course, going on to knock him out, you know, and it was kind of like the triangle theory or triangle effect, you know, how bad can, or you look at how can Manny beat, or how bad did Pacquiao beat Hatton versus, like, how bad did Mayweather beat Pacquiao, you know, so that was the big talk back then. And then, of course, you know, maybe we could throw out like an Oscar De La Hoya. Okay, yes, definitely past his prime, but he was bigger, you know, stronger than Manny Pacquiao, and And I don't know, like I said, I mean, Manny Pacquiao basically made easy work out of Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, although, yes, he was out of his prime, whatever, you can make that argument, and yet it's a legit argument, but, I mean, still, for Pacquiao to do what he did was incredible, so, I want to throw in Oscar De La Hoya. Even Oscar De La Hoya said it was one of the worst beatings he's ever taken, if not the worst beating. And if I remember right, Oscar De La Hoya quit. I think he came out shaking his head, walked over to the corner, and basically quit, and that was it. So, I mean, like I said, these are just a few. And I mentioned Ledwaba earlier. There's even a few victories early on in his career that were like televised in the Philippines, but I'm only trying to talk about the ones I know you guys are aware of. So, I mean, do all these stack up to Keith Thurman? Well, you know what? I'll tell you my opinion in the end. So yeah, 8 division champion. I believe he's had like 30 or beat 30 or faced rather 30 world champions or more. Future Hall of Famer. We can talk about the Marquez fight. We can talk about Timothy Bradley fights. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. But I must say, Manny Pacquiao beating Keith Thurman. It's got to be at least the top 3. At least the top 3. So, and I made a video breaking down Pacquiao's resume like a year or two ago. You guys go check that out. It was just an incredible breakdown. I did a lot of research for it, a lot of studying, that kind of thing. So my question to you, was Manny Pacquiao beating Keith Thurman the highlight of his career, right? And remember, you have to take everything into consideration: his age, all the different circumstances surrounding the fight, the fact that he's a senator, he's basically a part-time boxer. I mean, when you say it out loud, right, it sounds freaking crazy. A 40-year-old guy, boxing part-time, beating young welterweights in their prime, okay, beating guys like Adrian Broner, Lucas Matisse, even Chris Algieri, knocked him down 6-7 times. And I know there was water in the corner. We could all argue that. Algieri beating Provodnikov, coming off that Provo win with that big old nasty busted up eye. You remember that? His eye was like this big, I don't know, looked like a big grapefruit, right? So, but I thought that was a very impressive win just for the way he did it. Remember, they're talking about they're going to let him out of the cage. What was it? Tim Lane, I believe, Algieri's coach. He's like, I'm about to let him out the cage. I'm going to let him, and then boom, right? Pacquiao knocks him down again and again. So yeah, 62-7-2 is the current record. But I mean, yeah, when you look at the resume of Manny Pacquiao, it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I mean, Cotto, Clottey, Margarito, Mosley, Marquez multiple times, Bradley, 3 times, Brandon Rios, I mean, Chris Algieri, Mayweather, David Diaz, Oscar De La Hoya, Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales 3 times. I mean, it's just amazing to look at, and I don't think there'll ever be another Manny Pacquiao, right? Even like the Adrian Broner win. I don't think he got enough credit for that. So. Yeah, and then you look at Keith Thurman, and and I thought about this. I mean, should I be hard on Keith Thurman, right? He was humble in defeat. He took it on the chin, so I definitely give him credit for that. But when you look at his, Pacquiao, Josito Lopez, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Luis Collazo, Robert Guerrera, Leonard Bundu, Diaz, Soto Cross. By the way, the Soto Cross fight, one of my favorite fight. I just like that fight. Styles make fights, and Soto Cross came out and kind of surprised everybody. He did a little bit better than I think Thurman expected, but it was a fun fight to watch. Chavez, I believe, didn't Chavez? What happened there? I think what happened? I think I want to say he got disqualified. I know Chavez got DQ'd in the fight. I don't remember what fight it was, but I don't remember if it was that one or not. But yeah, beating guys, like I said, like Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, so where does Keith Thurman go? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, he called that, he needed a get-back fight, a comeback fight, and then he was going to make a statement, by retiring, the Senator Manny Pacquiao, and that night it just couldn't have gone any more wrong for Keith Thurman than it went. I mean, if you could sit down and create a dream scenario for Keith Thurman about how the hell can this night go terribly bad, I don't think you could even dream that up. I mean, I guess he could have lost by devastating knockout, because that was the only thing missing. I mean, you had Manny Pacquiao, literally the Professor Pacquiao right here. Manny Pacquiao, the Professor, there it is right there. Professor Manny, putting on a boxing clinic and just taking Thurman to school, knocked him down. Wasn't it round one, I think? I don't know. I got the fight, and I actually ordered that fight on pay-per-view. I heard as of now, I think it got like 500,000 buys. But I know that number will go up a little bit. And, considering, the way things are now with pay-per-views, you've got DAZN, you've got all these different apps and, so many different options now. I guess that's not a terrible number, but to be honest, I was expecting a little. I thought it was going to be maybe 600,000-700,000 buys, and like 800-900 would have totally shocked me. But I mean, 500,000 buys, that's really not that great. But again, in today's climate, it's not terrible, So definitely a lot of people out there. Supporting Pacquiao. And Loma got a fight coming up. We'll talk about it later. But like I said, my next video, just so you guys know, I'm going to watch that Gervonta Davis fight tonight. And, I'm going to talk about the cards. I mean, because, look, it's almost like they were on track to rob Manny Pacquiao. If you go back and look at the judges' cards, there's one judge in particular. It's almost like another Adelaide Bird or Adelaide, what the hell ever, Adelaide Bird, with the whole Gennady Golovkin-Canelo situation. It was like, what fight was this dude watching? Because I think it was like the second half, he had damn near every round for Keith Thurman. It only gave Manny, I forget how many rounds in the first half, but I don't know, like I said, what fight was this dude watching? I don't know. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Mayweather beef, putting out just a nasty comments, statement or whatever about Manny Pacquiao. And of course, Manny Pacquiao replied. So, here's what I think. Let me end it here. I think Manny Pacquiao should probably fight Mayweather again and retire. That's what I would like to see personally, right? Because, or Crawford. That'd be number two. Because I think Crawford, I know, man, I believe Crawford is more dangerous than Keith Thurman. I really do. Even though he moved up to welterweight, and like Thurman says, he hasn't really done much at welterweight. I just believe he's more dangerous than Keith Thurman at welterweight. And definitely, look, definitely not an Earl Spence. Manny Pacquiao needs to avoid Spence like the plague, okay? For real. He needs to stay the hell away from that guy. But I don't know. Like I said, I'd like to see that Mayweather rematch. I don't think it'll happen. Even if, look, I think it'd probably throw $200 million at Mayweather, and I think he would turn it down because he probably knows now he would lose, right? He knows he would lose. He knows that Pacquiao, he's this like incredible, being that at age 40, in December 41, is doing what he's doing, and Mayweather is not there. I mean, he's on the down. He's deteriorating. He's becoming older, and he's not active anymore. He's not training like a real fighter trains. Like Manny Pacquiao just had a really, like a legit camp. So I don't think we'll get that particular fight, but. Or being that Pacquiao just fought a young hungry lion, right, in his prime, maybe he'll take a kind of an easier fight, maybe like a B-level fighter, B-, C+, and he earned it, he earned it. So you can't be mad if Manny Pacquiao comes back, and fights, whoever it may be. I don't want to throw any names out there, but whoever it may be that isn't in, top 3, top 4, top 5, it's all right. Hey, I'd be cool with it. I'd be totally cool. I don't want to see him make a career out of that. I would think his next fight following that fight should be, a top guy, a top tier guy, but, but I wouldn't be mad at kind of a, you earned it, keep busy type fight. So, but anyway, going back to my original question, okay, do you think Pacquiao beating Thurman was his career highlight? And go back to what I said, age 40, part-time boxer. I mean, the dude is doing his part-time and beating these young guys in their prime. It's incredible. I mean, you're witnessing history. They're going to make documentaries about this dude, 10 years down the road. They're going to write books, and they've already done it, but it's going to continue on. What you're watching now is 100% boxing history in the making, and you're a part of it. So yeah, how do you rate it? Leave it in the comment section below.